Everyone, and welcome back. In this lecture we'll look at the following built-in string methods: the strip method, center, split, join, and swap case, and we'll briefly look at the dot format string formatting. Let's start by looking at the center method. The center method will return our string centered in a given width. Let's create a string and look at the method. See, this is a string. So we have our string. So let's call our center method ss.center, and if we simply pass it like that, and let's put 40. So this method will center our string in a given length of 40. So let me run it and show you. So the whole length of the string is 40, and our string ss, this is a string, is centered in the given width, which is 40. By default, all this remaining width will be filled with empty space, but if we want to fill it with some other character, we can specify that. So we can say ss.center, pass 40, and then fill the remaining spaces with, let's say, a star or asterisk. We can do that. So this is a string, and then the remaining space is filled with the character or element that is passed. Great. Let's save this in a variable called center. Now if we call center, we have, this is a string and a bunch of stars on the right and left. This will take us to the method strip. In the previous lecture we have looked at the left strip and right strip methods. Now let's look at the strip method. So the strip method will remove all the characters or elements specified in the method. For instance, let's try to remove all these asterisks from our string center. So we say center dot strip, and we want to remove what? The character star asterisk. So if we do that and then run it, we get our clean string, which is, this is a string. So by default, if we don't pass any character here, we get, it removes empty white spaces. So let's create another string. Let's say ss is equal to a bunch of empty white spaces. This is another string. Then let's say some empty white spaces. So if we call our string ss, we have that, and then by calling the strip method, it will remove all the white spaces. Run it. Now we got a clean string. Next, let's look at the swap case method. So as the name indicates, this will return the opposite case. Basically, if the string is an uppercase, it will return a lowercase, and vice versa. Let's look at an example. Let's say we have a string ss, or we can just use the ss string that we created above, which is, this is another string. So we can call the swap case method on it, and in this case all the uppercase characters are now lowercase, which is just the letter T, and all the other elements which are lowercase are now uppercase. Let's create another string and save it in a variable. Let's say upper, and then say all uppercase characters included. So now let's call the swap case method on our string upper. So upper dot swap case. Now all the characters will be lowercase. So that's how we can use the swap case method. Next, let's look at the split method. This method will split our string at the specified character. So let's say we have SS. Let's call our string upper. We have this. If we call the split method on our string object, that split, so it will split our string. By default, it will split it wherever there is an empty space. So that's the default split method. So let's run it. So here we get a list of many strings. So this is a list of strings containing all upper case characters and included. So the split method splits a given string wherever there is a space. So that's the default split method. And if there is no empty white space, it gives you the entire string. For instance, let's say we have a string SS. This is a string without any space. If we call the strip method on it, ss.strip, we get our entire string. Now let's create some other string. Let's say this is a string with a bunch of spaces. Next, let's try to split our string. So string.split. Oh, the method we just saw earlier, this should be split, not strip. SPLIT. Let's run it again. Okay, let's run it again. We get the entire string. Now let's use this string SS. So we have our string. If we split it now, we'll get a bunch of strings in a list. Now let's split it wherever the letter I appears and run it. So in this case, it will split it wherever the past character or element appears. So here I appears, so it splits TH and then I, so it will skip that, and then the second string is S and then empty space, which is this, and then we have the splitter I, and then in the next string we have this substring, which is S space A space str, and it goes on like that. Similarly, we can split our string wherever, for instance, we can pass more than one character. We can split it, let's say is, so it will split our string wherever is appears. So we'll get th, and then we'll get another space, and then we'll get a big list, a big string containing this. Let's run it and show you. So we have th, an empty string, and then a longer string. So that's how we can use the split method. Either by itself, by default it splits wherever there is an empty white space, or we can pass a certain character so that it will split it at the given character. Next, let's look at the join method. So this join method will join a string to a given element or character. Let's say x is equal to star. So if we call X, we have a star. And let's create another element containing string, let's say SS. So this object SS, let's store 1, 2, and then 3. So this is a sequence of strings. What we'll do next is we'll join each of these elements to this element star. So we can say SS, we can join our star X, X dot join, and then we can pass our sequence of strings SS, and that will join a star to our strings here. Similarly, we can say a plus sign dot join SS and run it. So we get 1, 2, 3. Let's see one more example. We can say dash dot join and then SS. We get 1, 2, 3. So this is the join method. Next, let's see how we can format a string using the dot format method. Let me show you an example. So I can say this is Python, and let's say empty curly braces. Then we call the dot format method, and then we pass, and we can simply say it is a great language. So what this will do is it will take the string after the format method. So it will take the string, it is a great language, and then place it in the curly braces here. So whatever we pass after the dot format method will be placed in the curly braces. So if we run this, we get this is Python and it's a great language. Similarly, we can say today is a great day. Then we can put curly braces. Don't you think so? Then another curly braces. It's a question mark, and then we can pass the dot format method. Then let's say John. So we get today is a great day, John. Don't you think so, John? This is a good way of formatting strings, both in Python 2 and 3. It works really well. You can say hi there, how's your day going? And then another, I am doing well, thanks. And then another curly braces, and then we can call the dot format method and pass whatever we want. Let's say hi there. So that will be placed in the first curly braces. Hi there, John, and then how's your day going? Let's say team. That will go in place of the second empty curly braces. Then we have I am doing well, thanks. Let's say John and team, for instance. So if we run it, we get hi there, John, how's your day going? So team is placed in the second curly braces. I'm doing well, thanks. And then in the third curly braces, we get John and team. So that's print formatting in strings using the dot format method. To recap what we learned in this lecture, we looked at the print formatting in strings. We looked at how we can use the join method, the swap case method, and we also looked at the center method, the split method, and the strip methods. Thank you everyone, and I'll see you at the next lecture.